Oh, hi there. Just a minute. You've caught me trying to finish the repair of Maxi. I'm not sure this is ever going to work. There's just so many pieces. And you know, on YouTube you can find goodness knows how many videos showing you how to take these things apart, but there's no videos showing you how to put them back together again. Maybe I should just play the videos backwards. So this is the snippets video. And why are we making a snippets video? Well, a couple of reasons. Some places I went to, there really wasn't enough material to make a whole video, so I can include them in here. And I'd like to tell you about my favourite places, and actually you can tell me about your favourite places from the trip, because you can leave a comment down below. And I can make a few general thoughts about the whole trip and a few ideas of what's coming next. And I have to mention the weather, as I did several times during the trip. Most days the temperature went above 40 degrees in the shade, and you don't actually make YouTube videos in the shade, you make them in the sun, so it was seriously hot. I cut out a few video locations if they involved being outdoors at lunchtime, and I just stayed in Bert and I just carried on driving to the next place with the aircon going full blast. Where I live in Thailand, it hasn't rained for the past 3 months. No, I lie. I got up one morning, Bert is just down there, and he gets covered in salt which blows off the sea. And I noticed one morning there were about 10 little spots on Bert's roof, so we've had 10 spots of rain in the last 3 months. Anyways, the long-range forecast has no rain in it either, which actually it's not that unusual for this time of the year, because it is called the dry season. What is unusual is the temperatures. It seems like 40 degrees is the new 35. And 35 was hot, but it was bearable. But trust me, 40 degrees, it's pretty unbearable. Anyways, I'm sure it's all China's fault. If in doubt, blame China. Everybody else does. Okay, back to the videos. One place that wasn't big enough for a full video was Khao Chi Chan, also known as Buddha Mountain. It's south of Phuttha. And I went there just before I went to Coffee War, you remember, with all the airplanes and you can drink coffee inside. So as you can see here, there's a Buddha image carved in the mountainside. It's 109 meters by 70 meters and was carved using lasers. In fact, it's the largest carved Buddha image in the world. In 1995, after the face of the mountain was flattened, teams from a local technology institute used laser technology to dig into the limestone, and the image was later inlaid with gold leaf. Now, when I first read that, I had a mental image of a giant laser at ground level that was programmed to do the carving. But no, people actually dangled from ropes using handheld lasers, just as they would have done with hammers and chisels. I can't help wondering how many limbs were lost in that process. Anyways, it's a place that you visit briefly. There are gardens, there's a shrine. You spend 5 minutes taking photos, as I did, and you move on. To what? Well, there was Wat Maneewong. It's a couple of hours north of Phuttha, and I was there quite early in the morning, but along with the whole of Chonburi and Sao provinces. That was a bad sign. I've come to learn that large crowds mean food and markets and not much else. The description promised beautiful Buddha art inside a cave, but the cave turned out to be a large shed with a tin roof. I also read that the bathroom is beautifully decorated, clean, and there is a market. See, I told you so. Anyway, I shot some video. So, no, it wasn't great, was it? Even the Buddha says, no, that's enough of that. What about these favourite places? Well, for me, I would say most of them. But tell me yours in the comments below, and while you're down there, you might as well subscribe, mind you. So I guess first up was Coffee War. You see, I love airplanes and air travel. I've flown roughly 1.7 million kilometers, which is more than 1 million miles. And yes, I have records of the more than 800 flights. In fact, I used to joke that I slept more nights on airplanes than I did in my own bed, except it wasn't a joke, I really did do that. I've checked the history of all the airplanes at Coffee War. It's what airplane lovers do. And I was going to tell you, but you'd be bored silly. But again, if you want to know, there's the comment section down below, and if you want to know about the history of them, I can tell you. Actually, I think the 737 had the most interesting life with about 15 different owners, including various banks and US government agencies. But anyway, that's enough of that. So I really enjoyed Wat Pa Sawang Bun, you know, the one with the 500 sticky up things that went around the main jetty. Because it was interesting and it was also quiet. There were almost no tourists, and I like places like that. And there was plenty to see once I found the right road. And of course, if I'd found the right road in the first place, I wouldn't have gone up all of those steps to see the jetty up on the mountain's top. And then, of course, there was the giant-sized Nezha Shrine in Ang Sila, the Chinese one. And it was impressive and it was colourful, but I thought it was a bit over the top. It was nice to see, but a bit excessive. Actually, I shouldn't have shown you all of it because one building was closed for renovations, but the barriers were kind of small and useless, and the construction workers didn't seem to care who went where, so I just jumped over the barriers and went straight past them. Oh, and there was a sign outside the main building that said no photos. But hey, I was making a video, I wasn't taking photos, so that doesn't count, does it? And what about the railway market at Mae Khlong? What did you think? Pretty insane. I can't help feeling someone's going to get hurt, and maybe they already have and nobody cares. But at least I was able to cross one place off my bucket list, except I've put it back on the list. You see, I was browsing Google Maps, as one does, and I noticed that the train line from Mae Khlong doesn't actually go all the way to the centre of Bangkok. You see, there's another river in the way that also doesn't have a bridge. Here's the map, you'll see what I mean. The line goes northeast from Mae Khlong to the station at the bottom arrow, and then you have to walk 15 minutes to the river, and you have to take a ferry across the river and then walk another 15 minutes to the station at the top arrow to get the train to Bangkok. So I decided, although I don't want to take the ferry and I don't care about the bit into Bangkok, I'd like to see it, the ferry that is, and I'd like to take the train back to Mae Khlong. It apparently takes about an hour, and it goes through some really attractive countryside and has several picturesque train stations along the way. It sounds like a fun way to spend a half day, so next time. And of course there was Wat Pa Saengtham, the one with the alien spaceship. What a seriously strange place. And I seriously have to stop saying seriously, because I seriously overuse the word. In this case though, I think it's appropriate. The place is seriously spooky. Having seen photos of the place beforehand, I expected to be overawed by the place, but I wasn't. I had an uneasy feeling the whole time I was there, and to be honest, I have no desire to go back. I mean, what is the place for? If I add up all the people I saw, a few staff, a few monks, a few construction workers, there were maybe 40 people in the whole place. And that's in an area big enough for at least 100,000 people, and probably way more than that. And then one odd thing, if you watched the video, which I'm assuming you did you see any sign of security? I mean, the place was deserted, there wasn't any. Do they have CCTV to monitor everyone? I don't think so. I think the place is just empty. And of course it's dominated by that spaceship thingy. Everywhere you look, there it is. Anyways, maybe I've read too many science fiction books. Maybe it's not spooky at all. Okay, my favourite was Ao Noi. It's peaceful, it's relaxing, it has great views and no spaceships. So, where next? Well, I think the next few videos will be places fairly close to home, but I think the next trip will be somewhere to the south. Although I'm in the south of Thailand, there's several provinces below me. There's Phuttha and Songkhla, which we've been to, but by no means have we seen everything. And then there's Pattani, then Narathiwat, and Yala, and Satun, and Trang, and I think that sounds like 2 trips, maybe 3. So I'd better start planning, which means it's goodbye from Bert, who's down there somewhere, and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.